Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to another episode of GEEXX Reads. Today I'd like to talk about the novel Foreigner by C.J. Cherryh, an image of which you will see right here. The Foreigner book, which is also the name of the entire series, which is currently about 24 books long or so. Holy crap. Anyway, first book in the series. The first 60 pages of this is prologue. It details a human colony ship that gets lost in space, and not just like lost like Star Trek Voyager, where like Star Trek Voyager got shot across the galaxy and they knew where home was. They just had a hard time getting there. No, these people are shot across the universe. They can't even see any galaxies they recognize. They're like, 13 billion light years or more off course. They're just gone. They're on the other side of the universe. It details them trying to find a place to live, finally finding a star with a planet that is habitable. That planet does have an indigenous alien population. They're humanoid. They're tall. They have black skin and gold eyes, which you can see in the picture. And they're a lot taller than people are. That's like to scale. A human being is like shoulder height to them or less. And there's like a first contact situation where it details up to like their first encounter, on planet with this alien species. The Ativi are, which is what the aliens are called. Well, they're not aliens; it's their planet. Anyway, the Ativi are humanoid. At this point when they first meet, they're like steam engine technology. They have just developed like steam trains. They're at that level of technology, and human beings have space travel. So the prologue of 60 pages details that. Then it jumps forward 200 years to, the main story, which centers around Bren Cameron, who is the only human allowed to interact with the Ativi. The entire human population lives on an island, isolated from the rest of the Ativi population on the mainland. Bren Cameron is the only human allowed to interact with them. His job is called the Paiti, which loosely translates to interpreter. I'm probably mispronouncing all this Ativi stuff, so if any C.J. Cherryh fans out there know how to properly pronounce this stuff, please let me know. He, interacts with local lords, local government, and the IEG, who is like the highest ranking, of the government. It's not president, it's not monarch, but they still have a somewhat feudal society. There's like a court of lords ruled over by the IEG, which is Tabini. So Bren and Tabini have a close working relationship. Bren got his job when Tabini inherited the IEG, being IEG from when his father died. So they're about the same age. Blah blah blah. We actually don't see much of Tabini in the books, despite that they're supposed to be close. We mainly get Bren and a small circle of people. We do get to see Tabini, but he runs the government. He's not free to socialize very much. But very shortly into the book, Bren is thrust into charged local politics, which he's not supposed to get involved in, but he gets stuck in it anyway. So he kind of like has to deal with this. This book, I mean, it's science fiction, but really it's a political thriller. You could take this and it's a study in culture shock, I guess you could say too. Like these are alien people to us, and the example I give is like, imagine like someone from America going to Japan. There's going to be culture shock. There are things that aren't going to translate very well, or at all. It'll be difficult for us to understand about their culture, about idioms and stuff like that. Imagine that, And now imagine a culture that does not share any of our biology at all. They don't have the same mental hardwiring. I mean, there's some similarities, but the Ativi don't have a word in their language for love or friendship. It's an alien concept to them. The closest thing they have is what they have is my I can't remember. It's begins with an M. Machini. I correct me. I don't remember what it was. They have a different term for a different emotional connection that humans don't share. Um, and that causes a lot of conflict between the two races, which is one of the reasons the humans live in isolation on an island where they don't interact, is because there is this disconnect in our emotional resonances. You know, we don't feel quite the same emotions. We share some things, but there's this break in our loyalty friendship thing that doesn't translate, and we don't feel and they don't feel. So, and there's other things too, but there's like, you know, that's one of the things I liked about this, and one of the things that CJ Cherryh does well is to depict that. You know, there's this whole, you know, he's trying to understand them, they're trying to understand him, and I think she writes that really, really well. You know, um, I mentioned Japan as an example deliberately because a lot of the culture of the Ativi seems to be based loosely on an Asian influence. Um, they have this, you know, obsession with numbers. You know, with there has to be a certain amount of flowers in the arrangement. The room has to be a set that's comparable to feng shui. You know, where, you know, the placement of the furniture, the arrangement of the flowers, the decorations of the wall, everything has to be just so for the room to be harmonious. You know, that's a big thing for them. You know, the harmony of numbers. Um, there's definite similarities in their culture to the Asian cultures. Um, Another thing I liked about the books is Bren's relationship and interactions with the people he does encounter. He has a small staff. You know, you know, his position in court requires him to dress properly, to look, at the height of Ativi custom. He has to wear his hair a certain way. He has to dress a certain way. You know, he needs like a manservant to help him get dressed properly. You know, in the proper suits and stuff like that. He has a small security staff of like 4 people. Um, Security staff is Banichi, Jago, which are two senior security, and then Tano and Algini. I like his security staff. You can tell I remember their names. Um, Benici and Jago are the 2 senior members of the security detail. Jago is the only woman on the team. Benici and Jago are like a team to pair. Tano and Algini are like a team to pair. You know, they alter shifts and stuff like that. And he spends most of his time with Benici and Jago, and his interactions with them I really enjoy. Ativi culture is like, again, going back to Japanese, it is very formal and very stiff. Especially amongst people that you don't know well, or among acquaintances or people you're not close with. But Banichi relaxes with Bren. He'll put his feet up on the table. He'll take his jacket off. He's off duty. He's not doing. He's off duty. He'll have a couple drinks. He'll joke. Jago is more reserved than Banichi, but she seems more curious to learn about human culture. She still is not as relaxed as Benichi, but she is still less formal than most Ativi are, at least with Bren and with Benichi too. They're a long-standing partnership, the working relationship. So I like their. You don't see much of Tano and Algini, much. You do, but they're much more in the background. Also, about halfway through the book, you meet Tabini Aiji's grandmother, Ilisidi. I love Ilisidi. She is a very, very old Ativi. She is also the second most politically powerful person on the planet next to her grandson. She is a riot. I love her. She is intelligent and crafty, and she does not give a crap. You have heard the expression, beware of old men in a profession where men die young. Illicidi is an old woman in a profession where people assassinate their opponents. So she is not a woman to be trifled with. She knows it. And while she knows how to play the proper etiquette, and she just does not care, she will use it when it suits her purposes. And when it does not suit her purposes, she will take protocol and chuck it in the fireplace. The scenes with her are always so much fun for me to read. I love Illicidi. She is just so great. Again, you don't meet until halfway through the book, and the first encounter that Bren has with her does not go the best. It could have gone worse. He's still alive. The series wouldn't have gone very far if he had died, halfway through the book. But yeah, the book is basically about, the political position Bren finds himself in, and he has no idea what's going on or why. And people can't tell him or won't tell him. You don't find out until like the last few pages of the book why things have unfolded the way they do. And Cherryh keeps it a mystery right up till the end. You really don't know. When you do find out, it makes perfect sense. But until the end, you're just like, why has all this stuff happened? You just don't know. And there are a couple of revelations, a couple of things that surprised me. This is one of my favorite science fiction books of all time. Easily top 10. And because of it, Cherryh has become one of my favorite authors. She does the whole alien mindset in several of her books. I consider it one of her hooks. It's in Pride of Channer. It's in, did she write Down Below Station? I can't remember. But it's in several other books where you encounter alien species and you can't make the mental connection because they're not human. They don't think like humans. That's the thing that happens in at least 4 or 5 of her books that I've read. Some of them are serious, some of them are not serialized, but she does it so well, and she's become one of my favorite authors because of that. I would highly recommend this book, even to people who don't really like science fiction. Like I said, it's a political thriller. You could take the same story, move it to Japan. I mean, you'd have to change some things. The whole, Japanese understand love and friendship, and stuff, you have to change a few things, but you could, have the security detail. It would work if you set this in Japan, 100%. You don't have to change a couple things. Like the fact that it's on Earth and not an alien planet halfway across the universe. But yeah, even this is A+ for me. I will admit, having gone back and reread it, it is kind of slow. It didn't feel that way to me when I first read it. And the second time I read it, or the third or fourth or fifth time I read it. But the 6th or 7th time I read it, I noticed it was kind of slow. So take that into mind too. This is not a high action book. It does, and it's how many pages long? It's 423 pages long. So, there's a pronunciation in the back of the book. I gotta go over it so I can properly pronounce Ativi, or Ativi, or who the hell knows. But anyway, the loyalty friendship thing. I can look that up. Manchi, that's what it is. It's Manchi. Sorry. If I had an editor, I could fix this, but I don't. No, yeah, definitely A+ material for me. I would definitely recommend this if you like science fiction, if you like political thrillers. If you like them both, even better. 2 in 1. You got a twofer. So take that as you will. But I can't say enough good things about this book because I love it. And if you like it, there's 24 other books to read, plus a couple of short stories. I fell off a ways into it. I read the first 6 and then I kind of fell off. I forgot about it. Not forgot about it, but didn't realize she kept writing. I didn't hang out in bookstores like I used to because I had a house and mortgage payments and kids. But getting back into it, I've started on the 3rd trilogy. It's like 8 trilogies. If you like it, there's a ton more. Anywho, as always, thanks for watching. If you like this video, I'm sorry I can't help you. You're going to torture yourself with my other crap. And until next time, good hunting.